shakalaka, could Bitcoin follow its 4-year halving cycle and do what it did exactly 4 years ago today and crash 90%? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some very interesting Bitcoin charts and determine if Bitcoin is likely to repeat what it did 4 years ago, or do we have something new to look at for Bitcoin this year? You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we are taking a look at could Bitcoin repeat what it did 4 years ago and crash 90% like it did starting from the peak on December 17th, 2017, 4 years ago, following Bitcoin's 4-year halving cycles. Is this likely? We're going to take a look at this. Before we do, guys, if you could like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also, come join us over on Twitter, where every week we give away one of these sweet shirts. If you like crypto and like making money in crypto, you'll definitely want to push that subscribe button. So, to begin with, Bitcoin has 4-year halving cycles. Every 4 years, the rewards from mining a Bitcoin block drops by half. There's one coming in another 870 days. The last one happened just about, less than a year ago, but pretty darn close. Now, if we take a look at Bitcoin inflation versus time, right now, the inflation is very, very low. It's at roughly like 2%. And if you take a look here, a lot of Bitcoin has already been mined. As a matter of fact, 90% of the total supply has already been mined. And that last 10% is going to be mined over the next 112 years. So most of the Bitcoin that's out there is already mined. It's becoming very, very scarce. And actually, if we take a look on exchanges, you can see historical supply of exchange wallets since about March of 2020, it has been decreasing. There's less and less Bitcoin available on exchanges. As a matter of fact, this past month alone, over 20,000 Bitcoin have been removed from exchanges. So, who knows how long it's going to take, but eventually there will be no more Bitcoin available because, like I said, 90%'s already been mined and the rest gets mined over 112 years. And while Bitcoin is scarce, guess what's not scarce? Fiat money and money printing. And as we can see in this chart here, these transient inflation numbers that they're telling us, 6%, 8%, whatever that is, that's garbage. If we actually take a look at the real numbers here on this chart, the overall inflation is 56%. If you don't have money that is separate from central governments and their money printing, you are going to not be able to afford bread. Simple as that. So, that being said, right now, Bitcoin price has dropped a little bit, okay? People are somewhat timid about the Bitcoin price drop. And if we take a look, we can actually find out the reasons why Bitcoin price has dropped. A lot of it is due to an unprecedented amount of selling in Asia. Now, why is this? Well, they made Bitcoin illegal in China, so maybe some of those people have to sell their Bitcoin. Maybe they don't like freedom coin of Bitcoin. I don't exactly have an answer for why Asia is selling a lot of Bitcoin, but you can clearly see here these red lines right here have caused a lot of the downturn in price. But you have to look at the whole picture because that's just Asia. If we actually take a look at the larger picture, we can see the macro tops in 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021 occurred when long-term holders distributed their Bitcoin in mass. You can see here, 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 here. Okay, now, November, we had a price drop. As you can see here, a lot of Asian sellers sold off Bitcoin, price dropped. But if we take a look at long-term holders, guess what? There was no sell-off from long-term holders. Do they know something that the rest of us don't know? As a matter of fact, if we take a look at retail accumulation, people with less than 1 Bitcoin in their wallet, we can see, similar to what happened at the COVID pandemic, when they bought a lot, guess what? As the price dropped, retail traders have just bought a lot more Bitcoin. So there's something likely going on. Something is likely afoot. And people are saying, hey, we could have topped. And while that's possible, we could have topped because the Pi cycle top indicator did flag back in April, and it did call the top appropriately here back in 2017, and also this one in 2013, and this other one in 2013. So while that did call the top, and while that could still be the top, we don't exactly know until really new tops are set, well, there's evidence that the volatility is still in range of previous cycles, and all cycles have previously ended with a parabolic run. We haven't had a parabolic run yet. So you can see here 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021. All three of these had parabolic runs at the end. This one has not yet. And there's no evidence that we are at a top because Pi cycle top is not flagging right now. As a matter of fact, we just had an upturn of this orange line right here. And every time the orange line upturns, if you take a look at Bitcoin price, not long after, the price goes up. Here, upturn, Bitcoin price goes up. Here, upturn, Bitcoin price goes up. Again, here, upturn, Bitcoin price goes up. So we just had a pretty good indicator of Bitcoin price going up from the Pi cycle top indicator. And not even on the CBBI.info does it look like we are nearing a top. Tops would be oranges, reds, things of those nature. We're still down in green right here. 50% confidence at the top. So what does that mean? Well, if we take a look, actually the Bitcoin price projections, the blocks since halving, we can see that halving 1 and halving 2, there is a lengthening of time between the halving peaks. And that would put the next halving, halving 3, even further out. So potentially we might have to wait a little bit longer. Instead of 4 years completely identical to previous halvings, well, they might be extended a little bit. And which brings us to this chart here. Could Bitcoin potentially drop 90%? Well, you have to look at both sides of the story. Could it? Yes, absolutely. Anything could happen. I knew getting into Bitcoin that anything could happen. It could always go to zero, and that's a reality you have to face. But let's take a look at the likelihood. Now, if it were to go down in that direction, we do have potentially a double top formation right here. So we have top 1, top 2, we have confirmation point right here. If Bitcoin price were to come down and pass this confirmation point right around $30,000, there is a very high likelihood it would retrace all the way back down to the bottom, basically where this red line is, this launching point from where it came from. So that is a possibility about what could happen. And if we take a look, just taking the top from 2017 right here and putting a bars pattern down to the bottom, we lay it over where we are right now on the same date. Guess what? It falls down to pretty much that exact same line where we have the most volume, the highest volume profile, the most volume traded hands at that spot, which would be significant support. So could that happen? Yes. Will that happen? I think somewhat unlikely, because if we take a look at all of the data, all of the evidence, and we just think about supply and demand, despite panic selling that may be going on right now, despite whatever may be going on, this is something of limited supply in a universe where they are printing massive, massive amounts of money. The things of limited supply that people know about, that people want, go up in value. It may not happen this year, it may not happen next year, but eventually it is something that will happen. Which brings me to this chart right here. Not a chart, but a tweet by Tyler Winklevoss. Bitcoin has now died more than 435 times. Thoughts and prayers to all the shorts out there. It must have been a tough road these last 10 years. This next 10 years won't be any easier. Just a hint. Guys, if you think Bitcoin's meteoric rise over the last 10 years was something, just wait, because we are just on the cusp of global mass adoption right now. Literally, like a fraction of people on the planet use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now. I know it seems like everything because it's our world, but most people have not yet interacted with them. This is like on the same point when another platform is about to become very, very popular. Like think about right before Facebook became popular, right before Instagram became popular, right before TikTok became popular, when you and your friends were using it, before your parents and grandparents started using it. That is where we are right now. It is about to explode, and the price is likely to follow. So guys, if you did enjoy that video, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, come join us over on Twitter, and I will catch you guys later. Love you. Peace.